News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Lisa Mateo.
Lisa, we begin in Los Angeles, where tensions between police and anti-deportation demonstrators have stretched into a fourth night. The Trump administration is escalating its response. It's mobilizing 700 Marines on top of the 2,000 National Guard troops that were activated over the weekend. L.A. Mayor Karen Bass says the move doesn't make sense.
They're guarding the federal building here in downtown, and they're guarding the federal building in Westwood. That's what they're doing. So they need Marines on top of it? I don't understand that. That's why I feel like we are part of an experiment that we did not ask to be a part of.
And now the state of California is suing to try to stop the deployments. Here's State Attorney General Rob Bonta.
The authority that the president cites only allows for the deployment of the National Guard by the president when there's an invasion by a foreign nation, which there's not, when there's a rebellion to overturn the leadership of the United States of America, which there is not.
President Trump says activating the Guard was a great idea. He's backed comments from White House border czar Tom Homan that California Governor Gavin Newsom and other local leaders could be arrested if they interfere with the response.
You can protest if you want. You have that First Amendment right. But when you cross the line of putting your hands on an ICE officer, impeding our enforcement operations, knowingly harboring, concealing illegal alien, that's a crime.
Border czar Tom Homan was asked on CNN if Governor Newsom's done anything to warrant arrest. He said, quote, absolutely not.
Well, back in Washington, Nathan, debate continues over President Trump's big tax and spending cut bill. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he's trying to get Senate Republicans to do as little as possible to change the $40,000 cap on state and local tax deductions. House Republicans from high-tax states have threatened to block the bill if the Senate waters down the write-off, but no Senate Republican is from a high-tax state. Meanwhile, President Trump is touting one small piece of the one big beautiful bill, savings accounts for babies.
For every U.S. citizen born after December 31st, 2024, before January 1st, 2029, the federal government will make a one-time contribution of $1,000 into a tax-deferred account that will track the overall stock market. In other words, it'll be pegged to an index that we'll pick.
President Trump was joined at the White House by several corporate executives. Dell CEO Michael Dell promised a dollar-for-dollar match to the accounts for Dell employees, and Robinhood Markets said it will provide technology and capital resources for that initiative.
Lisa, let's turn now to the latest developments in trade negotiations between the U.S. and China. They are back underway for a second day in London. Both sides are looking to ease tensions over rare earth supplies and tech exports. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick have been leading the U.S. delegation. Lutnick says the talks have been fruitful. President Trump is echoing that.
We are doing well with China. China's not easy. I think we're doing very well. They're over there now. I'm only getting good reports.
The first day of talks lasted more than 6 hours, and Secretary Lutnick says this second day could last all day as well. The U.S. signaled it is willing to remove restrictions on some tech exports in exchange for assurances that China is easing limits on rare earth shipments.
The Trump administration is making another sweeping move to reshape the federal government. The Department of Health and Human Services is dismissing all 17 members of the committee that advises the government on vaccines. Bloomberg's Amy Morris reports from Washington.
Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said in an opinion piece in the Wall Street Journal that, quote, a clean sweep is needed to reestablish public confidence in vaccine science. But public health officials call this a blatantly political move that will further undermine trust in vaccine safety. The group, known as the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, reviews the latest data and makes recommendations that determine whether insurers cover shots, among other things. In Washington, Amy Morris, Bloomberg Radio.
Amy, thank you. President Trump's pick to lead the Commodity Futures Trading Commission goes before Senate confirmation hearing today. Crypto lobbyist and former CFTC Commissioner Brian Quintenz plans to tell lawmakers he is uniquely qualified to head the derivatives regulator as Congress considers giving it more authority over digital assets. In his prepared remarks, Quintenz will say he is well-versed not just in policy issues that affect farmers and ranchers who use futures to hedge price risks, but also in emerging technologies like blockchain and crypto.
And we now turn to the the markets, Nathan. Futures, well, little movement this morning as we head into Tuesday's session. Stocks in the UK hit a record. And in the U.S., Mark Zuckerberg making a major push into artificial intelligence at Meta Platforms. Bloomberg's John Tucker joins us with the very latest. John, this is like a sci-fi movie plot?
Yeah, it has everything but an underground lair, Lisa. Zuckerberg recruiting for a secretive new team. He's got a pretty audacious goal in mind. He's trying to achieve artificial general intelligence, AGI. It's the idea that machines can perform as well as humans. Now, if Meta achieves this milestone, he could weave it into a range of AI tools. He's personally going to hire a team of about 50 people. It's called the Superintelligence Group. He's already rearranged desks at the company's Menlo Park headquarters, so this new staff will sit next to him. Zuckerberg is building this secret team in tandem with a planned multi-billion-dollar investment in Scale AI. That'll be Meta's largest external investment to date. Zuckerberg is racing against competitors like OpenAI and Google to become a market leader for AI. Shares this morning, little change pre-market. In New York, I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
Hager.
I'm Lisa Mateo, and this is Bloomberg.